Hey everyone, hope you're doing great. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll dive into what if Naruto become the Wizard King. Smash that subscribe button, and be sure to peek at the description below. Let's begin. The space between dimensions was not silent. It screamed. It was a cacophony of distorted gravity and folding light, a violet and sick green kaleidoscope that tore at the senses. Naruto Uzumaki, the seventh Hokage in waiting, the hero of the fourth great ninja war, and the current vessel of the strongest-tailed beast, tumbled through the abyss like a leaf caught in a hurricane. Kurama! Naruto yelled, his voice swallowed by the vacuum. Do you have a lock on the exit? Sasuke's portal is closing. Inside the seal, the great nine-tailed fox, Kurama, was usually a pillar of cynicism and power. Now, even he sounded strained. The coordinates are shifting, Naruto. That leftover rift from Kaguya wasn't stable. It's chewing up the chakra path. Brace yourself. Brace myself for what? Impact. The world twisted. The violent color snapped into a blinding white. The sensation of weightlessness was instantly replaced by the brutal, unforgiving tug of gravity. Naruto slammed into something hard. Earth. Grass. Rock. The impact cratered the ground, sending a shockwave rippling through the soil that startled birds from the trees a mile away. Dust plumed into the air, choking and thick. Naruto groaned, lying flat on his back in the center of a spiderweb of fractured earth. His body, conditioned by wars against gods and reanimated legends, didn't break, but it certainly ached. He blinked, staring up at a sky that was too blue. It was a picturesque, painterly blue that felt slightly off. Alive, Naruto muttered, sitting up and cracking his neck. He dusted off his orange and black jacket, the newer, more streamlined one he started wearing after the war. He touched the headband on his forehead. Still there. Kurama? You good? There was a pause. A deep, resonant thrum echoed in his mind, but it felt distant. Like a radio signal with bad reception. I am here, the fox grumbled, his voice sounding tired. But this place. The atmosphere. It's thick. Thick? Naruto stood up, looking around. He was in a forest, but looking past the tree line, he saw a giant skeleton of a demon. No, wait. He squinted. That wasn't the Valley of the End. That was just a massive skull of some creature resting on the horizon, far in the distance. Where are we? This doesn't look like the Land of Fire. Naruto closed his eyes and extended his senses. He reached out to feel the chakra signatures of the area. He expected to feel the familiar hum of nature energy, the sharp spikes of shinobi, or perhaps the faint signatures of civilians. His eyes snapped open in shock. What the hell? You feel it too? Kurama asked. It's not nature energy, Naruto whispered, looking at his hands. It's everywhere. It's in the air, the ground, the plants. But it's not chakra. It feels wilder. More chaotic, and I can't sync with it. Usually, entering sage mode required him to balance his own chakra with the energy outside. But this energy, this stuff floating in the air, refused to mix. It felt like trying to mix oil and water. It was abundant, terrifyingly so, but it was alien. And I can't sense Sasuke, Naruto said, a pit forming in his stomach. Or Sakura. Or Kakashi-sensei. Naruto, Kurama said grimly. I don't think we're just in a different land. The dimensional rift didn't just move us in space. It moved us across reality. The signature of this world, it's fundamentally different. Naruto stood in the silence of the foreign forest, the wind rustling the leaves with a sound that felt lonely. He was stranded. Alone. Well, Naruto slapped his cheeks, forcing a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. Panic later. Food and information first. That's the mission protocol, right? He picked a direction, towards a faint plume of smoke rising over a hill, and began to walk. Hage Village, the Forsaken Realm. The village of Hage was not a place of grandeur. It was a place of mud, tilled earth, and simple survival. It lay in the shadow of the colossal demon skull, a remnant of a legend the villagers knew by heart but rarely thought about. In the small church orphanage that served as the heart of the community, Sister Lily was hanging laundry. The day was peaceful, save for the constant, high decibel shouting coming from the woodchopping station. I'm not done yet. I'll chop 1,000 logs. No, 1,000,000, Sister Lily sighed, a small smile touching her lips. Asta is energetic today. Father Orsi, an old man with a kind face and a receding hairline, wiped sweat from his brow as he watered the meager vegetable garden. He's nervous, Lily. The grimoire acceptance ceremony is next week. He's trying to compensate. Compensate for having no magic, a cool, detached voice said. Yuno walked past them, carrying a basket of potatoes. He was tall for his age, handsome, with messy black hair and a pendant around his neck. Even doing chores, wind swirled gently around him, carrying some of the load. He was the pride of Hage, a prodigy born in the mud. Be nice, Yuno, Lily chided gently. I'm being realistic, Yuno said, though his eyes drifted toward the woodchopping station with a hint of concern he would never voice aloud. If he doesn't get a grimoire, he can't be a magic knight. Shouting won't change that. I'll show you, why you know. I'll get the coolest grimoire ever. Just you wait. Asta screamed from across the yard, having heard them with his uncanny hearing. Suddenly, the shouting stopped. The silence was so abrupt that Father Orsi dropped his watering can. Did he hurt himself, Asta? Lily called out, dropping the bedsheet she was folding. She ran toward the side of the church, Yuno close on her heels. When they rounded the corner, they found Asta frozen. He wasn't hurt. He was staring. Standing at the edge of the church grounds was a stranger. He was a young man, perhaps a few years older than Asta and Yuno, maybe 17 or 18. He was blond, spiky-haired, and possessed distinct whisker-like markings on his cheeks. He wore strange, open-toed boots and a jacket that looked far too high quality for the Forsaken Realm. But what stopped Asta, and what made Yuno narrow his eyes, was the presence of the man, or rather, the lack of it. In a world where every living thing emitted mana, even the insects, even the grass, and certainly every human, this stranger was a void. He felt like Asta. There was zero magical power coming from him. And yet, unlike Asta, who felt like an empty bucket waiting to be filled, this man felt heavy. Just standing there, he seemed to have a gravity that pressed down on the grass beneath his feet. Yo! The stranger waved, flashing a bright, disarming smile. Sorry to intrude. I saw the smoke. Is this a village? Sister Lily stepped forward, her protective instincts kicking in, though the man didn't seem hostile. Yes. This is Hage Village. I am Sister Lily. Who might you be? The stranger scratched the back of his head. Name's Naruto Uzumaki. I'm a traveler. I got a little lost. Actually, really lost. I'm looking for the Land of Fire. You guys heard of it? Father Orsi blinked. The Land of Fire? Is that in the Heart Kingdom? Or perhaps Diamond? Naruto's smile faltered for a second. Heart? Diamond? Ah, crap. I really am far out. He looked at the group, his blue eyes scanning them. He looked at Yuno, then at Asta. He paused on Asta. Hey, Naruto pointed at the short, ash-haired boy. You're strong. Asta pointed at himself, eyes widening. Me? Yeah. Your body. It's built like a rock. You train a lot? Asta's face turned red, steam practically shooting out of his ears. Usually, people commented on his lack of magic, or his shortness, or his loudness. No stranger had ever looked at him and immediately called him strong. Yes. I train every day. I'm going to be the Wizard King, Asta roared, flexing his arms. Naruto blinked then laughed. It was a warm, boisterous sound. Wizard King? Is that like a Hokage? What's a Hokage? Yuno asked, stepping in front of Asta slightly. He was wary. This stranger had no mana, yet carried himself with the confidence of a grand magic knight. The leader, Naruto said, thumbing his chest. The strongest ninja in the village who protects everyone. That's what I'm gonna be. Ninja? Father Orsi scratched his bald spot. I've heard fairy tales of spies called ninjas from the east, but young man, you don't have a grimoire? Naruto looked at the belt where the others seemed to be looking. Grimoire? You mean like a book? No. I don't read much while I'm fighting. Seemed kinda impractical. The silence that followed was deafening. You don't have a grimoire? Asta whispered, his eyes sparkling. And you don't have magic either, do you? Naruto tilted his head. Magic? Is that what you guys call it here? No. I don't use magic. Asta looked like he had just found a long-lost brother. Tears streamed down his face. He launched himself at Naruto. Finally! Someone else! I'm not alone! Naruto caught the charging boy with one hand, stabilizing him effortlessly. Whoa, easy there, short stack. What do you mean someone else? I have no magic! Asta blubbered. Everyone laughs at me. But you look strong. How did you get strong without magic? Naruto looked down at the boy. He saw the desperation in those green eyes. He recognized it. It was the same look he used to see in the mirror when he was 12, sitting on a swing while the academy students passed him by. Naruto's expression softened. He ruffled Asta's hair. There's more to power than magic, kid. A lot more. Sister Lily cleared her throat. Mr. Uzumaki, you look like you've traveled a long way. Are you hungry? Naruto's stomach let out a roar that rivaled a tailed beast's palm. He grinned sheepishly. Starving, actually. Do you have ramen? We have potatoes, Father Orsi offered. Lots of potatoes, Naruto sighed. Potatoes it is, the assessment. Dinner was a rowdy affair. The church was full of younger orphans, Hollow, Aruru, and Nash, who treated Naruto like a new jungle gym. Naruto, for his part, was excellent with children. He balanced two of them on his shoulders while eating a steamed potato with a level of enthusiasm that baffled Yuno. It's tasteless, Nash pointed out. It's just a potato. Food is food when you're hungry, Naruto said, swallowing. So, let me get this straight. In this place, the Clover Kingdom, everyone uses magic. You get these books, grimoires, when you turn 15, and the person who is the strongest mage becomes the Wizard King, correct, Yuno said, eating gracefully. And the Wizard King commands the magic knights. They protect the kingdom. And you two want to join these knights? Naruto asked. We're going to be the top, Asta declared, chewing with his mouth open. I'm gonna prove that even a peasant without magic can be the Wizard King. I will be the one to become Wizard King, Yuno corrected calmly. But Asta is my rival. We will settle it at the exam. Naruto leaned back in his rickety wooden chair. The wood groaned under his weight. He studied the two of them. Yuno, Naruto analyzed internally. High latent energy. He feels like Sasuke did back in the day. Talented. Cool. But he's not drowning in darkness, which is a nice change of pace. He cares about the loud kid, and Asta. Naruto looked at the ash-haired boy who was currently fighting a potato. He has zero energy. Not just low chakra reserves, literally zero. It's a miracle he's alive. In my world, if your chakra hits zero, you die. But here, the life force and this magic seem to be separate systems. He's compensating with pure muscle mass. So, Naruto, Father Orsi asked nervously. Where will you go now? You said you are lost? Yeah, Naruto admitted, his face darkening slightly. I need to find a way to contact my people. Or find a way to cross dimensions. Orsi dropped his spoon. Dimensions? It's complicated, Naruto waved it off. But I figure the best place to find info is where the smart people are. The capital? The royal capital is far, Sister Lily said. And without a broom to fly. Fly? Naruto raised an eyebrow. With magic, Nash said, holding a toy broom. Duh. Ah. Right. Magic. Naruto stood up. Well, I can walk. I've got legs. But I can't leave just yet. You guys fed me. It's my ninja way to pay back debts. You don't have to, Sister Lily started. I insist, Naruto grinned. I'll help around here for a few days. Chop wood, fix the roof, whatever you need. Besides, I need to figure out how this world works before I go wandering into a city. The misfit and the training. The next 3 days were a revelation for the people of Hage, and a confusing headache for Naruto. Naruto quickly realized that his jutsu were problematic. Early the next morning, he went to a secluded clearing to test his abilities. Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto whispered, forming the cross seal. Poof! 5 Narutos appeared. Okay, clones work, Naruto noted. Chakra is internal, so that's fine. But it feels heavy. Maintaining them costs more stamina than usual. He tried to walk up a tree. He focused chakra to his feet. He stepped onto the trunk, and the bark exploded. Whoops! He fell on his butt. You're using too much, Kurama chided. The atmosphere here is dense with mana. It's pressing against your skin. When you project chakra out, even just to stick to a tree, it reacts violently with the mana. You have to fine-tune your control. It's like you've been lifting heavy weights, and now you're trying to pick up a feather. Great, Naruto sighed. So I have to relearn chakra control? I'm the Hokage, damn it. Not here, you aren't. Here, you're a weirdo in an orange jacket. Naruto spent the afternoon chopping wood with Asta. This was where he found common ground. Asta swung his axe with ferocity. Thwack. Thwack. Naruto picked up an axe. He didn't swing hard. He adjusted his grip, breathed in, and let the weight of the axe head do the work, guiding it with a precise pulse of physical energy. Crack. The log split perfectly down the center. Asta stopped. Whoa. How did you do that? Technique, Naruto said. You're using all your strength to smash the wood. You're fighting the log. Don't fight it. Read the grain. Strike through it, not at it. Asta stared at him, then looked at the axe. Read the grain. Naruto watched him. You train your body a lot, Asta. But you're tense. You're always ready to take a hit. That's good, but it makes you slow. You gotta be like water. Soft until you hit, then hard as a rock. Like water! Asta screamed. He swung the axe. It got stuck. Damn it! Naruto laughed. Keep trying. Yuno watched from the church window. He's teaching him, he murmured. He's a strange one, Father Orsi said, standing beside Yuno. He has no magic, yet he doesn't seem bothered by it. He walks with the confidence of a king. He's strong, Yuno admitted. I can't sense how, but my instincts are telling me not to fight him. Later that day, Naruto, Asta, and Yuno went into the village proper to deliver the firewood. This was Naruto's first exposure to the general populace. It wasn't pleasant. The villagers of Hage were poor, but they had their pride. And their pride was rooted in their meager magic. Look, it's the church rats, a shopkeeper sneered as Asta walked by with a bundle of wood. And they'd picked up another stray. That blonde one, a woman whispered loud enough to be heard. I heard he has no mana. Is he defective? Maybe he's cursed. Birds of a feather, another laughed. The loud brat and the defective stranger. Only Yuno has a future. Naruto's ear twitched. He kept walking, his face neutral. He had walked through Konoha for years while people whispered demon and monster. Compared to that, defective was practically a compliment. But Asta flinched. Naruto saw it. A micro-flinch in the boy's shoulders before he puffed his chest out and yelled, Good morning. Here is your wood. It is excellent wood. Shut up, brat, the shopkeeper snapped, tossing a few copper coins at Asta's feet. Take your money and go. Asta bent down to pick up the coins. A boot slammed down on the coins. It was a local teenager, Sek, who was visiting relatives in the village. He wore slightly nicer clothes. Haha. Oops. Didn't see there. You're so small, Asta. Just like your magical power, Sek. Baha. Asta gritted his teeth, reaching for the coin under the boot. Move. Make me, Sek sneered. Oh wait, you can't? You're going to the grimoire ceremony? Why bother? You're just going to embarrass the village. Yuno stepped forward, wind gathering in his palm. Sek. Move your foot. Or what, genius? Sek scoffed, though he looked nervous at Yuno's glare. Suddenly, Sek was looking at the sky. He blinked. Why was he looking at the clouds? And why did his cheek sting? He hit the dirt hard. Naruto stood where Sek had been. He held the coins in his hand. He dusted them off and handed them to Asta. You drop these, Naruto said calmly. You. Sek scrambled up, holding his swelling cheek. You hit me. You sucker punched me. I walked up to you and flicked you, Naruto said, looking bored. You were just too slow to see it. I'll kill you! Sek pulled out a small wand. Magnum cannonball, a ball of compressed magic fired at Naruto. Naruto, watch out! Asta yelled. Naruto didn't move. He didn't dodge. He simply raised his hand and slapped the magic spell. Smack! The ball of energy was swatted aside like a fly, crashing into a nearby vegetable stand and exploding into cabbage confetti. Silence descended on the street. Did he slap the magic? Someone whispered. Naruto looked at his hand. Stings a little. Mana is dense. He looked at Sek. If you're gonna shoot stuff at people, make sure you don't miss. And don't bully the kid. He works harder in a day than you've worked in your life. Sek turned pale. The coldness in Naruto's blue eyes was terrifying. It wasn't the anger of a child. It was the killing intent of a warrior. Sek turned and ran. You'll pay for this. My cousin is a noble. You'll see. Naruto turned to Asta. The boy was staring at him with wide, watery eyes. That was awesome. Asta tackled Naruto's leg. Teach me to slap magic. Get off. Naruto laughed, shaking his leg. It's not a move. I just hit it. Yuno looked at the destroyed cabbage stand. He looked at Naruto's hand. There were no burns. He used physical force to redirect pure energy. Who is he? The noble's tax. 2 days later, the piece of hage was shattered. It was evening. The sun was setting, painting the sky in bruises of purple and orange. Naruto was sitting on the roof of the church, staring at the demon's skull in the distance, trying to meditate. He was getting better at filtering the mana out, isolating the tiny traces of true nature energy underneath it. It was exhausting work. Kurama, any luck on the dimensional signal? It's getting clearer, Kurama replied. But I need more time. This world's energy interferes with my sensory abilities. It's like trying to hear a whisper in a thunderstorm. Naruto sighed. Take your time. I'm starting to like it here. The potatoes aren't bad if you roast them enough. Suddenly, a commotion down below caught his attention. A carriage, far too ornate for the dirt roads of Hage, had pulled up to the church. 4 men in armor flanked it. They held staves glowing with magic. Stepping out of the carriage was a man who looked like he smelled of expensive perfume and rot. He wore velvet robes and enough jewelry to feed the village for a year. This was Lord Bade, a minor noble with a major ego. Naruto frowned and hopped down, landing silently behind a stack of hay bales to observe. Father Orsi! Lord Bade shouted, his voice shrill. You are behind on your contributions. Father Orsi bowed low, shaking. Lord Bade. We paid the taxes last month. We have nothing left. The winter was hard on the crops. Excuses, Bade sneered, twirling a fire-tipped wand. The king requires funds for the magic knights. Do you not support the protection of the realm? Perhaps this orphanage is unnecessary. Please, Sister Lily stepped forward, shielding the children who were cowering behind her. We barely have enough to feed the children. Have mercy. Mercy is for the useful, Bade spat. He looked at Sister Lily with a lecherous gaze. Though perhaps we can work out a separate arrangement? A pretty nun like you shouldn't be rotting in the mud. Sister Lily stiffened. I am a bride of the faith. You are a peasant! Bade roared. He raised his wand. Fire magic, burning whip. A lash of flame cracked through the air. Clang! Asta was there. He had jumped in front of Lily, holding a rusted iron shovel. The fire whip hit the shovel, heating it instantly. Asta screamed but didn't let go, though the heat seared his hands. Asta! Lily cried. Leave them alone! Asta roared, charging forward with the red-hot shovel. Filth! Bade flicked his wrist. A blast of wind from one of his guards knocked Asta backward. He tumbled into the dirt, groaning. Yuno stepped up, his grimoire-less hands raised. The wind swirled around him aggressively. Get out. Oh? The prodigy, Bade laughed. You haven't even received your grimoire yet, boy. Do you think you can challenge a noble? Bade signaled his guards. Teach them a lesson. Burn the garden. Maybe hunger will teach them respect. The guards raised their staves. 4 balls of fire began to form, aiming for the vegetable patch, the only source of food for the winter. Father Orsi fell to his knees. No! Please! Not the food! The guards fired. Whoosh! The fireballs streaked toward the garden, and then a yellow blur. Thud! 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 The fireballs didn't hit the garden. They hit the dirt, 10 feet away, fizzling out. Standing in front of the garden was Naruto. He was dusting off his hands. In the blink of an eye, he had seemingly kicked up a wall of dirt to intercept the fire. Or maybe he had just kicked the fireballs themselves. It happened too fast to tell. Who are you? Bade demanded, stepping back. Another rat? Naruto didn't smile. His face was a mask of cold fury. The whiskers on his cheeks seemed to darken. You know, Naruto said, his voice low but carrying across the yard. I used to know a lot of people like you. Leaders who thought power gave them the right to step on people. He took a step forward. The guards flinched. Stay back! A guard yelled. Fire magic, flame bullet! He fired. Naruto tilted his head. The flame bullet missed his ear by an inch. He hadn't moved his feet, he just leaned. And you know what happened to them? Naruto asked, taking another step. Kill him! Bade shrieked. All 4 guards fired a barrage of magic, fire, wind, and earth shards. Naruto vanished. It wasn't a spell. There was no mana spike. 1 second he was there, the next, the air cracked where he had been standing. He appeared in front of the first guard. A fist buried itself in the man's armor. The breastplate crumpled like paper. The guard went flying into the woods. 1. Naruto ducked under a wind blade, swept the legs of the second guard, and delivered a palm strike to his chest. The guard flew upward, landing on the roof of the church. 2. The third and fourth guards tried to combine their magic. Naruto spun, his leg catching the third guard in the neck. As the fourth guard raised his staff, Naruto grabbed it. He crushed the wood with his bare hand. The guards stared in horror as Naruto headbutted him. The sound of helmets clashing rang out. The guard dropped. 3 and 4. It had taken 6 seconds. Naruto turned to Lord Bade. The noble was trembling. He backed up against his carriage. Stay back. I am a noble. If you touch me, the magic knights will. You talk too much, Naruto said. He raised his right hand. Bade panicked. He channeled all his mana. I'll incinerate you. Creation magic. Blazing boar. A massive boar made of fire erupted from Bade's wand, roaring as it charged at Naruto. It was a high-level spell, enough to burn down the entire church. Asta screamed. Naruto! Naruto didn't flinch. He planted his feet. He held his right hand out. Blue energy began to swirl. It wasn't mana. It was something denser, brighter. It spun rapidly, creating a high-pitched whine that sounded like 1,000 birds chirping, or a storm contained in a sphere. Rasengan. Naruto thrust the sphere forward. The spinning ball of chakra met the blazing boar. There was no contest. The rotation of the Rasengan shredded the fire magic, scattering the flames into harmless sparks. The sphere drilled through the spell and stopped inches from Bade's face. The wind pressure alone blew Bade's wig off. The noble's eyes were crossed, staring at the ball of death hovering in front of his nose. Boo! Naruto whispered. Bade shrieked, fainted, and collapsed in a heap. Naruto let the Rasengan dissipate. He looked around. The garden was safe. The kids were safe. He turned to the group. Father Orsi's jaw was on the floor. Sister Lily was covering her mouth. Yuno was staring at Naruto's hand with intense calculation. And Asta was vibrating. What was that? Asta screamed, running over and grabbing Naruto's hand, inspecting it. It was blue. It spun. Swish. Swirl. Boom. Was that magic? You said no magic. Naruto chuckled, the tension leaving his shoulders. It's not magic, Asta. It's chakra. It's the energy inside me. I made it spin. Teach me. Please. Asta begged, bowing so low his head hit the dirt. Naruto looked at the boy. He couldn't teach him the Rasengan. Asta had no chakra. But, I can't teach you that move, Naruto said gently. But that training we did with the log? The focus? If you master that, if you master your body, You won't need magic to beat guys like him. Naruto looked at the unconscious noble, then back at Asta. Magic is just a tool, Naruto said, addressing Yuno and the orphans as well. It's not what makes you strong. What makes you strong is the guts to step in front of a fire whip to protect your family. Naruto poked Asta's forehead. You've got the guts, kid. Now you just need the muscle to back it up. Asta rubbed his forehead, tears welling up again. But these weren't tears of despair. They were tears of validation. For the first time, someone stronger than anyone he knew had told him he was worth something. I will! Asta yelled at the setting sun. I'll get stronger. I'll become the Wizard King. Yeah, Naruto laughed, walking back toward the church. But first, we gotta hide this fat guy's body before he wakes up. And someone peel some potatoes. I used a lot of energy. The aftermath. Later that night, after the noble had been sent running back to the capital with a terrified warning not to return, Naruto sat on the church roof again. Yuno joined him this time. You're not from this world, Yuno said. It wasn't a question. Naruto looked at the boy. Sharp. You defeated a noble without a grimoire, Yuno said, clutching his pendant. You inspired Asta. He's been doing push-ups for 3 hours. He hasn't stopped. He's a good kid, Naruto said. Are you going to leave? Yuno asked. Not yet, Naruto said, looking at the moon. It was the same moon, at least. That was comforting. I need to find a way home. And to do that, I need to go to your capital. I heard there's a library there, and powerful mages. The entrance exam is in 6 months, Yuno said. We're going to the capital then. Naruto grinned. 6 months, huh? Sounds like a road trip. He stood up and stretched. Tell you what, Yuno. You and Asta want to be magic knights? I'll tag along. I'll make sure you guys get there in one piece. And hey, Naruto's eyes flashed with a hint of fox-like mischief. Maybe I'll join up too. Being a Wizard King sounds kinda fun. Yuno smirked, a rare expression for him. You'll have to beat me to it. Get in line, kid, Naruto laughed. I've been chasing titles since before you were born. Below them, the sound of Asta counting push-ups echoed into the night. 999. 1000. Naruto closed his eyes and smiled. He was lost, stripped of his village, and powerless to sense the world around him. But listening to that determination, he knew one thing for sure. He wasn't bored anymore. The seasons in the Forsaken Realm changed with a subtlety that Naruto Uzumaki appreciated. The biting cold of winter melted away, replaced by the damp, earthy smell of spring, and finally, the humid heat of summer. 6 months had passed since the stranger fell from the sky. In that time, the landscape of Hage Village had changed, not geographically, but atmospherically. The orphan named Asta, once known merely for his loudness and lack of magic, had become a physical juggernaut. Under the tutelage of the Orange Hermit, a nickname the villagers used when Naruto wasn't listening, Asta had learned that muscles were not just for showing off, they were for function. Form. Naruto shouted, sitting cross-legged on the tip of the demon's skull, eating a roasted sweet potato. Below him, Asta was holding a handstand on one finger, sweat pouring off him like rain. Yes, sir. Form is good. Form is life. You're wobbling, Naruto observed lazily. Your core is loose. If you were fighting a Hyuga right now, your chakra points would be shut down before you could blink. I don't know what a Hyuga is, but I won't let them shut me down. Asta roared, stabilizing his body with sheer grit. Nearby, Yuno was practicing his wind magic control. He was trying to split a leaf in half using a wind blade without disturbing the other leaves on the branch. He succeeded. He looked up at Naruto, expecting praise. Naruto nodded. Clean. Precise. But you're telegraphing your intent. I knew you were going to cast that 3 seconds before you moved your finger. Yuno frowned, looking at his hand. How? Your eyes, Naruto said, hopping down from the skull, dropping hundreds of feet and landing with the lightness of a feather. You look at your target too hard. A real killer looks at everything and nothing at the same time. Naruto dusted off his pants. He looked different than when he arrived. His jacket was worn, patched by Sister Lily. He had grown accustomed to the heavy, mana-dense air of this world. It still felt like breathing soup compared to the crisp air of the elemental nations, but he could function now without feeling like he was underwater. All right, Naruto said, stretching his arms. Tomorrow is the big day. The trek to the capital. You guys ready to become magic knights? I was born ready! Asta shouted, collapsing from his handstand and bouncing back up instantly. I am ready, Yuno said calmly, though his fist was clenched tight. Good, Naruto grinned, checking his pouch where he kept his kunai, weapons he had forged himself from scrap metal over the last few months, as his originals were running low. Because I'm coming with you. I need to find a library, and I figure the king's castle is the best place to start. Are you going to take the exam too, Naruto? Asta asked, eyes sparkling. Naruto shrugged. Why not? Might be fun to see what the elites of this world can do. Besides, if I become this wizard king guy, maybe they'll give me a dimension-hopping spell as a prize. The road to Kika. The journey to the royal capital of Kika took several days on foot. While many examinees from the noble realms took carriages or flew on brooms, the trio from Hage walked. For Naruto, it was nostalgic. It reminded him of the missions he used to take with Team 7, long walks, camping under the stars, and bad food. This kingdom is weird, Naruto commented as they crested a hill, overlooking the vast expanse of the common realm. The gap between the rich and poor is huge. In the village, you guys are eating potatoes. Here, the towns have magic street lamps and paved roads. That is the reality of the Clover Kingdom, Yuno said, adjusting his pack. Mana is everything. Those with more mana live in the center. Those with less are pushed to the edge. Sounds like a system designed to fail, Naruto muttered. If you ignore the people on the edge, eventually the foundation crumbles. That is why I will become the Wizard King, Yuno said firmly. To change it. Not if I get there first. Asta challenged, racing ahead. Naruto watched them run, a small smile on his face. They remind me of me and Sasuke. Except Yuno isn't trying to kill Asta, which is a definite upgrade. Don't get too comfortable, Kurama's voice rumbled in his head. We are approaching the center of the mana concentration. The energy in the capital is going to be intense. If you use Sage Mode there, be careful. The nature energy is tainted with human emotions. Got it, Kurama? Just taijutsu and basic ninjutsu. Keep the heavy artillery for emergencies. As they approached Kika, the sheer scale of the city came into view. It was a fortress of stone and magic, spiraling upward toward the castle that floated, literally floated, above the city. Whoa, Asta gaped. Flashy, Naruto admitted. Pain in the butt to climb if the magic fails, though. They entered the city gates. The noise was instantaneous. Vendors shouting, magic carpets whizzing by, and the smell of roasting meat and exotic spices. Grimoire registration? A guard asked at the gate of the Colosseum. Here. Yuno presented his 4-leaf clover grimoire. The guard's eyes widened. A 4-leaf? From the Bunis? Go right ahead. Asta stepped up. Here. He presented his dirty 5-leaf, though it looked like a rotten 3-leaf to the guard, grimoire. The guard sneered. Try not to trip on the way in, kid. Naruto stepped up. He had his hands in his pockets. Grimoire? The guard asked. Don't have one, Naruto said cheerfully. The guard blinked. Excuse me? I don't have a book. I'm just here to fight. This is the Magic Knight's exam, the guard said slowly. You need magic. I have my own tricks, Naruto tapped his head. Is there a rule saying I need a book? The guard checked his scroll. He frowned. Technically, no. The rules say any citizen of the Clover Kingdom aged 15 and up. But without a grimoire, you won't be able to cast spells. You'll die in there. I'll take my chances, Naruto said. Name's Naruto Uzumaki. Write it down. The guard sighed, scribbling the name. Next. Try not to bleed on the arena floor, kid. The anti-birds and the outsider. Inside the arena registration area, the tension was palpable. Hundreds of teenagers were gathering, practicing spells, and sizing each other up. But there was a strange phenomenon occurring near the entrance. The anti-birds, pests of the exam that flocked to those with low mana to peck at them, were swarming. They covered Asta completely. He looked like a feathered bush running around screaming. Get off! I'm not bird seed. Yuno, possessing immense mana, was completely ignored by the birds. They gave him a wide berth. Then, Naruto walked in. The birds that were swarming Asta suddenly froze. Simultaneously, every bird in the arena screeched. It wasn't a sound of aggression. It was a sound of primal terror. Swoosh! The flock exploded outward, flying as far away from Naruto as the Colosseum walls would allow. They huddled in the rafters, shaking. Asta, now bird-free, panted. Whoa! Thanks, Naruto! How did you do that? Naruto scratched his cheek. Animals have good instincts. They know not to mess with the top of the food chain. They smell me, Kurama snickered. Even in another dimension, a rabbit knows when a wolf walks into the room. Look at that, a voice sneered from the side. The birds are so disgusted by his lack of mana they won't even peck him. Truly pathetic. Naruto turned. A group of nobles was standing there. At the center was a young man with a distinctively arrogant face, Sek Bronzatsa. He was flanked by other nobles who were snickering. Wait, not Sek. Sek was cowering behind a pillar, remembering the slap from 6 months ago. This was someone else. A tall noble with long hair and a uniform that cost more than Hage Village. I am Selim de Hapshas, the noble announced. You must be the outlander the rumors speak of. The one who assaults nobles with brute strength because he lacks the grace of magic. Naruto picked his ear. And you are? I just told you. Selim fumed. I am of the house Hapshas. We are royalty compared to filth like you. Cool, Naruto said. Good luck with that. He walked away. Selim turned red. Don't ignore me. When we get to the combat phase, I will humiliate you. Yeah, Naruto waved his hand. Get a number. The captains descend. The sky darkened as the heavy magical pressure of the captains arrived. Naruto looked up toward the VIP balcony. His eyes narrowed. Okay, now we're talking. These guys are the real deal. He scanned them, analyzing their threat levels instantly. The guy with the silver braids, Nozel Silva. High control. Water or mercury release? Feels arrogant. Sharp spikes of chakra, or mana. The woman with the helmet, Charlotte Roseley. Suppressed power. Feels like she's holding something back. A curse? The lion guy, Fugolian Vermilion. Fire. Immense heat radiating off him. He's disciplined. Reminds me of Captain Yamato if he was on fire. The masked one, William Vengeance. Weird. His signature is dual? It feels like two people in one body. I don't like that. And finally, Naruto's eyes locked onto a burly man smoking a cigarette. He looked like he hadn't slept in a week, and was ready to kill someone for a cup of coffee. That guy. The darkness user. His energy is dense. He's not projecting it like the others. He's keeping it tight to his skin. A brawler. I am William Vengeance of the Golden Dawn, the masked man announced, his voice amplifying over the arena. We will now begin the Magic Knight's entrance exam. The crowd cheered. Asta slapped his cheeks. Yuno stood straight. Let the chaos begin, Naruto whispered. Test 1, the broom flight. For the first test, the instructor shouted, you will use the brooms provided to fly to the designated marker. Magic control is essential for a knight. The students mounted their brooms. Fly. Instantly, hundreds of students lifted off. Yuno soared effortlessly, standing on his broom like a surfboard. The nobles floated gracefully. Asta stood on the ground, straining, his face turning purple. Fly. Damn you. Fly. The broom did not move. Naruto picked up his broom. He looked at it. Okay, he muttered. It responds to mana. I don't have mana. I have chakra. Let's see if I can hotwire it. He channeled a tiny amount of wind chakra into the wood. Crack. The broom snapped in half. The instructor stared. Did you just break the exam equipment? It was faulty, Naruto lied smoothly. Too brittle. You failed this portion. The instructor yelled. If you cannot fly, you cannot be a knight. The objective is to get to that marker, right? Naruto pointed to the flag hanging near the top of the Colosseum wall. Yes, but, cool. Naruto dropped the broken broom. He walked toward the wall of the arena. He placed one foot on the stone wall. Then the other. He began to walk up the vertical surface, his hands in his pockets. The arena went silent. He's walking on the wall, a student gasped. Is that gravity magic? No, a noble scoffed. I don't sense any mana. Is he using sticky boots? Naruto strolled up the 90-degree incline as if it were a sidewalk. He reached the height of the marker, stood perpendicular to the ground, and waved at the instructor. Made it, Naruto called down. Does this count? On the balcony, the captains were watching. Interesting, Figolian mused. He is adhering to the surface. Earth magic? No, Yami Sukahiro exhaled a cloud of smoke. There's no magic there. He's focusing his internal energy to the soles of his feet. It's pure physical control. The kid's a spider. It is unrefined, Nozel scoffed. A knight must fly. A knight must get to the battlefield, Yami corrected. He got there. Test 2, magical power. Next test. Magical power projection. Hit the target with your strongest spell. One by one, students fired fireballs, water streams, and wind blasts at a brick wall target. Yuno stepped up. He didn't even use a grimoire. A massive tornado blasted from his hand, shattering the wall. The crowd went wild. Asta stepped up. He screamed. Nothing happened. He threw a rock. It bounced off. The crowd laughed. Naruto stepped up. Hey, no grimoire kid! Someone heckled. Gonna walk on the wall again? Naruto looked at the target. It was a thick stone slab. I can't use a tailed beast bomb, I'll wipe out the city. Regular Rasengan is too melee. Let's try, a mini shuriken. Naruto raised his right hand. He focused. The air around him began to distort. Whirr. A high-pitched, screeching sound began to emanate from his palm. It sounded like 1,000 banshees screaming in unison. A small, spinning shuriken of white-blue energy formed. It was only the size of a dinner plate, but the speed of the rotation was creating a vacuum. The wind whipped up in the arena, pulling loose grass and dust toward Naruto's hand. The heckling stopped. The captain stood up. That sound. Jack the Ripper grinned, slicing the air with his tongue. It sounds like it wants to cut everything. The density of that energy, Charlotte murmured, gripping the railing. If he throws that. Naruto held the wind style, Raisin Shuriken miniature variant. He felt the instability. The air in this world was too rich. The jutsu was feeding on the ambient mana and growing faster than he anticipated. If I throw this, it's not just gonna break the target. It's gonna break the wall behind it, and maybe the stands. The screeching reached a painful pitch. Students were covering their ears. You know what? Naruto shouted over the noise. This is overkill. He clenched his fist. Poof. The jutsu dissipated instantly. The wind died down. The silence was deafening. Naruto picked up a pebble, infused it with a tiny bit of lightning chakra, and flicked it. Bang! The pebble hit the target like a sniper rifle shot, punching a clean hole through the stone. Pass? Naruto asked the pale-faced instructor. Pass, the instructor squeaked. On the balcony, Yami's eyes were wide. He canceled the spell of that density instantly without backlash? That kid, he's a monster. Test 3, 4, and 5, the struggle. The next few tests were less spectacular for Naruto. Magical control. Target shooting. Naruto tried to fire small chakra bullets. He had terrible aim with projectile chakra because the mana in the air deflected them. He hit the target 2 out of 10 times. Creation magic. Create something with your magic. Naruto used the transformation jutsu. He turned into a perfect copy of the instructor. That's technically creation? The instructor ruled, confused. But it's an illusion. It's physical, Naruto copy said, poking the instructor. Solid clone. The captains were confused again. Evolution. Make a seed grow. Naruto stared at the seed. He tried to feed it yang chakra. The seed exploded. Whoops, Naruto said. Too much juice. By the end of the skills portion, Naruto was a mixed bag. He had god-tier physical stats and destructive power, but zero finesse with the world's standard magic systems. Test 6, Combat. Finally! Naruto stretched. The fun part. Pair up! The instructor shouted. This is one-on-one combat. Anything goes. Surrender or incapacitation ends the match. The fights began. Asta was paired with Sek. Sek tried his Baha. Defense. Asta, using his anti-magic sword, smashed through it in one hit, knocking Sek out cold. "I'm not done yet," Asta roared. "Who's next?" Then, it was Naruto's turn. Number 165, Naruto Uzumaki, versus Number 44, Salim de Hapshas, the crowd murmured. A commoner versus a noble. Salim walked into the ring, his grimoire floating beside him. It was an ornate book, glowing with lightning magic. "Now," Salim sneered, "I will show you the difference between a brute and a mage. You embarrassed me at the entrance. I will break your legs." Naruto walked to the center. He didn't take a stance. He stood with his arms loose, his breathing rhythmic. "Begin!" "Thunder magic! Lightning god's spear!" Salim shouted. A massive bolt of lightning coalesced into a javelin and fired at Naruto. It moved at the speed of sound. To the audience, it was a blur of light. To Naruto, it was slow motion. Lightning release? Weak. It has no shape manipulation. It's just raw power thrown forward. Naruto didn't dodge. He raised his hand, coated in wind chakra. Wind beats lightning. Slash. Naruto's hand chopped through the lightning spear, dissipating it into harmless sparks. "What?" Salim gasped. "He cut the lightning with his bare hand? Is that all?" Naruto asked. "Don't mock me." Salim opened his grimoire to a new page. Thunder creation magic, storm eagle. A massive bird of lightning formed, screeching as it dove toward Naruto. "Okay, that's cooler," Naruto admitted. He disappeared. Body flicker technique. There was no sound of movement. Just the displacement of air where Naruto had been. Salim blinked. The target was gone. His lightning eagle crashed into the ground, exploding harmlessly. "Where?" "Behind you," a voice whispered in Salim's ear. Salim spun around, terrified. Naruto was standing there, inches away. "You rely too much on the book," Naruto said softly. "You look at the pages, not the opponent. Get away!" Salim tried to fire a point-blank blast. Naruto raised two fingers and tapped Salim's forehead. Thwack! It wasn't a hard hit. But the force transferred through Salim's skull, rattling his brain just enough to shut down his motor functions. Salim's eyes rolled back. He collapsed face first into the dirt. Naruto caught him before he hit the ground, lowering him gently. "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki." The arena was silent again. "He didn't use a spell," Yuno whispered, watching from the sidelines. "He just moved. He's so fast." Asta yelled. "I gotta do more squats." Up on the balcony, the captains were having a serious discussion. "He's a problem," Nozel said. "No mana. Anomalous abilities. He could be a spy from the Diamond Kingdom using forbidden science. Or, Fugoli countered, he is a prodigy of physical reinforcement. But can he be trusted? He's dangerous, Charlotte added. He holds back too much. We don't know his ceiling. Yami Sukahiro chuckled. He stood up and crushed his cigarette. You guys are overthinking it, Yami muttered. He's just weird. The selection. The sun had set. The torches were lit. The candidates stood in rows, nervous sweat glistening on their foreheads. Number 164, Yuno. All hands went up. Every captain wanted him. Yuno chose the Golden Dawn. Number 165, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto stepped forward. He looked up at the balcony. Here we go, he muttered. Silence. Seconds ticked by. No hands went up. Nozel looked away. Charlotte crossed her arms. Fugolian hesitated, then kept his hand down. He respected the power, but the lack of magic was a political nightmare for the royals. Jack the Ripper licked his lips but didn't raise his hand. Naruto felt a twinge of disappointment. Really? After the wall walk and the lightning chop? Tough crowd. Well, Naruto sighed. Guess I'll go be a potato farmer. Wait a minute. A heavy thud echoed as Yami Sukahiro jumped down from the balcony, landing in front of Naruto. The ground cracked under his boots. Yami towered over Naruto. He radiated an aura of menace that would make most men wet themselves. You, Yami grunted, blowing smoke in Naruto's face. Naruto didn't blink. He waved the smoke away. Those things will kill you, you know. Yami smirked. You got a death wish, kid? Talking to a captain like that? I'm just giving health advice, Naruto grinned. Tell me, Yami leaned in, his dark eyes boring into Naruto's blue ones. Where are you from? And don't say Hage. You don't smell like Hage. I'm from a place far away, Naruto said honestly. A place of Shin, warriors. Yami stared at him. I've been watching you. You have 0 mana. None. But your ki, it's the size of a mountain. And there's something else inside you. Something angry. Naruto's smile tightened. He senses Kurama? You're a weirdo, Yami concluded. You don't fit in. The other captains are scared of you because they can't measure you. They like things they can control. Yami pointed his thumb at himself. I like things I can't control. It makes life interesting. Yami raised his hand. The Black Bulls will take you. Naruto looked at Yami. He saw a man who didn't care about nobility, or rules, or status. He saw a leader who valued strength and guts. Naruto grinned, a true, fox-like grin. You got it, Captain? But I warn you. I eat a lot. Yami laughed. We gotta cook. Welcome to the squad, kid. Try not to die. Number 166, Asta. Naruto stepped back to watch his little brother. Silence again. Not you too, Naruto whispered. Come on, Yami. Pick the set. Yami jumped down again. He gave Asta the speech about reality. He released his killing intent. Asta didn't flinch. I will be the Wizard King, Yami laughed maniacally. You're interesting too. Black Bulls it is, Asta cheered. I made it. Naruto. I made it. We made it, Naruto corrected, fist bumping the crying boy. The departure. The exam was over. The crowds were dispersing. Yuno approached them, wearing the Golden Dawn cloak. Asta. Naruto. Yuno. Asta yelled. We're rivals now. Squad rivals. I will become the Wizard King first, Yuno said. He looked at Naruto. Take care of him, Naruto. I'll try, Naruto laughed. But knowing this kid, he'll be the one dragging me into trouble. As Yuno walked away, Yami grabbed Naruto and Asta by the heads. All right, runts. Time to go home. Where is the base, Captain? Asta asked. Do we walk? Walk? Yami scoffed. We have a ride. A spatial portal opened. Out stepped a man with spatial magic, Finral. Good work, Captain, Finral said nervously. You actually picked people this year? Yeah. A musclehead and a mystery box, Yami said, shoving them toward the portal. Naruto looked at the swirling portal. It felt like the Kamui dimension. Hey, Captain, Naruto asked before stepping in. This squad, the Black Bulls. What are they like? Yami grinned. It was a terrifying expression. They're the worst. You'll fit right in. Naruto stepped through the portal. The worst, huh? Naruto thought as the world twisted around him. Sounds like my kind of people. The portal spat them out, not onto solid ground, but into a cacophony of noise and destruction. Naruto landed on his feet with the grace of a cat, while Asta tumbled face first into the dirt. They were standing in front of a bizarre, towering structure that looked like several different castles had been smashed together by a giant toddler. Welcome to the base, Yami Sukihiro grunted, stepping out of the portal and lighting a fresh cigarette. Try not to break anything. We just fixed the west wing. Boom. An explosion blew out a window on the second floor. A chair flew out, followed by a stream of fire and a laughing bolt of lightning. Die, you battle freak! Come on, Magna! Fight me! Fight me! Naruto blinked, shielding his eyes from the debris. Lively place. This is the Black Bulls? Asta picked himself up, eyes sparkling. It's so cool. It's a madhouse, Finral corrected, looking exhausted. Please, Captain, make them stop. Yami ignored him and kicked the front door open. I'm home, you idiots! The chaos inside paused for exactly 1 second. The main hall was a mess of spilled drinks, broken furniture, and food. A scantily clad woman, Vanessa, was passed out on the sofa in her underwear holding a wine bottle. A giant brute, Gray, was exhaling smoke in the corner. A small girl, Charmy, was eating a mountain of pastries. A pale man, Gordon, was mumbling into a doll, and a man with a nosebleed, Gauche, was looking at a picture of a little girl. In the center of the room, a delinquent with a mohawk and sunglasses, Magna Swing, was grappling with a small, smiling blonde boy, Luck Valtia. Oh, Captain's back. Luck chirped, releasing Magna's collar. Did you bring presents? I brought rookies, Yami said, stepping aside to reveal Naruto and Asta. Fresh meat. The squad turned their collective gaze to the newcomers. Rookies? Magna wiped soot from his face, adjusting his shades. He marched up to Asta and Naruto. You punks think you can just walk into the Black Bulls? You gotta earn your robes. I am Asta. From Hage Village. I will be the Wizard King. Asta screamed at point-blank range. Magna recoiled. Stop yelling. I'm right here. He looked at Naruto. And who are you, Whiskers? Naruto smirked, hands in his pockets. He recognized Magna's type immediately. He reminded him of a mix between Kiba and a younger, angrier version of himself. Naruto Uzumaki, and I wouldn't stand so close if I were you. You smell like burnt toast. Magna's eyebrow twitched. Ha! You mocking me, city boy? I'm from the Bunas, actually, Naruto said. But yeah, I'm mocking you. Oh, I like this one. Luck sipped over, sparks flying from his cheeks. He has no mana. But he feels dangerous. Hey! Hey! Fight me! Right now! Fight me! Luck threw a lightning-clad punch at Naruto's face. It was fast. Faster than most Chunin. Naruto didn't block. He simply tilted his head to the left. The fist occupied the space where his nose had been a microsecond ago. Luck's eyes widened. He swung with the other hand. Naruto sidestepped. He kicked. Naruto hopped over it. Whoa, Luck giggled, his smile widening into something manic. You're dodging everything. How? How? You telegraph your moves, Naruto said, catching Luck's fist in his palm. The impact created a small shockwave that rattled the plates on the table. You're excited. It makes you sloppy. Enough, Yami shouted. His voice carried a layer of dark mana that crushed the room into silence. Save the bonding for the baptism. Magna, give him the robes. The baptism. The baptism turned out to be Magna firing fireballs at Asta while Asta tried to dodge. Asta, being Asta, didn't dodge. He hit the fireballs back with his sword, nearly incinerating Magna in the process. Pass. Magna declared, his hair slightly singed. You got guts, shorty. Then he turned to Naruto. All right, Whiskers. Your turn. Dodge or die. Magna wound up, a baseball bat made of fire manifesting in his hands. Fire magic. Exploding fireball. He swung. A fastball of flame roared toward Naruto. Naruto sighed. These guys really only know one speed, huh? He didn't draw a weapon. He didn't move his feet. He waited until the fireball was inches from his face. Then, he inhaled deep into his lungs. Water style, water bullet. Executed with minimal chakra, just a spit, Naruto spat a small, compressed bullet of water directly into the center of the fireball. Hiss. The fireball evaporated instantly into a cloud of steam. The steam engulfed Magna. Gah! I can't see! Magna flailed. When the steam cleared, Naruto was wearing the Black Bull's robe over his jacket. He was adjusting the collar. Thanks, Naruto said. Fits pretty good. A little short in the sleeves, though. Magna stared at him. Did you just spit out my fire? Hayatan, sort of, Naruto muttered. Anyway, I pass, right? Magna grinned, a toothy, wild expression. He slapped Naruto on the back hard enough to bruise a normal man. You're crazy! No mana, but you spit water? That's manly. Welcome to the Bulls, Naruto, the lonely royal. The celebration that night was raucous. Naruto found himself in a drinking contest with Vanessa, which he lost, because ninja metabolism didn't account for whatever poison she was drinking, and an eating contest with Charmy, which he tied, earning her eternal respect. But amidst the chaos, Naruto noticed something. Or rather, someone missing. A silver-haired girl had arrived late, looked at the chaos with disdain, and vanished toward the dorms. Who was that? Naruto asked Magna, who was currently arm-wrestling Asta. Huh! Oh, the other rookie, Magna grunted, slamming Asta's hand down. Noelle Silva. She's royalty. Real stuck up. Probably thinks she's too good for us. Silva? Naruto frowned. Like the captain with the weird braids? Yeah. His little sister. But don't bother. Royals don't mix with peasants. Naruto looked at the hallway where she had disappeared. He knew that look. The look of someone who put up a wall because they were afraid of what would happen if they took it down. Later that night, Naruto couldn't sleep. The bed was comfortable enough, but the mana in the air was buzzing. He went for a walk outside the base. He found her in the garden. Noelle Silva was standing by a tree, firing water balls at a target. Or trying to. Water creation magic. See Dragon's Nest. A massive sphere of water erupted from her wand, and immediately wobbled, distorted, and exploded, drenching her. Whatever, Noelle sniffed, wringing out her hair. Stupid wand. It's defective. It's not the wand, a voice said from the branch above her. Noelle shrieked, firing a blast of water blindly upward. Naruto dropped down, hanging by his knees before flipping to land on his feet. The water blast missed him by a mile. How long have you been there, insect? Noelle demanded, flushing red. Spying on a royal is a crime. Just got here, Naruto lied smoothly. He looked at the target. You have a lot of power. Like a lot. That water ball was dense enough to crush a rock. Of course it was, Noelle flipped her pigtail. I am a royal. My power is immense. But you can't aim it, Naruto finished. Noelle froze. Her eyes narrowed. You, a peasant with no mana, dare to lecture me? I'm not lecturing, Naruto sat on a tree stump. I'm observing. You're scared. I am not scared. Yeah, you are, Naruto said gently. You're scared of hurting someone. Or maybe you're scared of failing. Your energy, it's chaotic. It's hesitating right at the moment of release. Noelle looked down at her wand. You don't know anything about me. I know what it's like to have power you can't control, Naruto said, his voice dropping an octave. He touched his stomach absently, where the seal used to burn. I know what it's like when everyone looks at you like you're a failure, or a monster, because you can't do the simple stuff that everyone else finds easy. Noelle looked up. For the first time, she really looked at him. The goofy smile was gone. His blue eyes were old. Older than 17. Who are you? She whispered. Just a guy who had to work really hard to get people to acknowledge him. Naruto grinned, the sunshine returning. Hey, try this. Don't try to force the water into a shape. Let it flow. Water doesn't like to be boxed in. Visualize it moving through the target, not hitting it. Noelle hesitated. She raised her wand. She closed her eyes. Flow. She fired. The ball of water formed. It wobbled, but less than before. It hit the edge of the target, knocking it over. I hit it, Noelle gasped. Progress. Naruto gave her a thumbs up. Keep at it, Noelle. You're gonna be strong. He stood up and walked back toward the base. Wait! Noelle called out. Naruto stopped. Don't think this means we're friends or anything. I am royalty. I don't fraternize with commoners. Naruto laughed, waving over his shoulder. Sure thing, princess. Good night. Noelle watched him go. She looked at the target. A small smile tugged at the corner of her lips. The captain's test. 2 days later, the peace, or what passed for peace in the Black Bull's base, was shattered. Kiyami said. They were in the training yard. Asta, Magna, and Luck were watching. Yami stood in the center, smoking. Naruto stood opposite him. You said you sense things, Yami said. But you don't sense mana. So, show me. You want to spar, Captain? Naruto cracked his knuckles. I want to see if you can survive, Yami corrected. Come at me with everything you got. If you die, I'll bury you in the garden. Everything? Naruto asked. Naruto, Kurama warned. Don't use the cloak. The dimensional static is still there. If you draw too much of my chakra, you might destabilize the seal, or blow up the castle. Right. No, Kurama. Sage mode it is. I need a second, Naruto said. He clasped his hands together. He stood perfectly still. What's he doing? Magna asked. Praying? He's stopping, Luck whispered, his smile fading. His presence, it's changing. Naruto inhaled. The chaotic mana of the Clover Kingdom was difficult to filter, but he had been practicing. He pushed aside the mana and pulled on the underlying natural energy of the earth and sky. Orange pigmentation appeared around his eyes. His pupils turned into horizontal bars. Sage mode. Okay, Naruto said. His voice was deeper. I'm ready. Yami's eyes narrowed. Your ki just spiked. But it feels clear. Like a still pond. Yami drew his katana. Dark magic. Dark cloak lightless slash. He swung. A wave of darkness, heavy and consuming, flew at Naruto. It was fast. Too fast for a normal human to track. Naruto didn't run. He sensed the intent of the attack before Yami's muscle even twitched. He ducked. The slash took off a few strands of his hair and demolished the stone wall behind him. You missed, Naruto said. He was already moving. He closed the distance in a burst of speed that cracked the ground. Frog Q-Might! Naruto punched at Yami's chest. Yami blocked with the flat of his blade. Too slow. Bam! An invisible force slammed into Yami's chest, knocking the breath out of him. The captain slid back 10 feet, his boots carving trenches in the dirt. What the hell? Yami coughed, looking at his chest. You didn't hit me. I blocked it. Natural energy extends beyond my body, Naruto explained. My reach is longer than it looks. Ha! Yami grinned, a vein popping in his forehead. I like it. Now let's get serious. Yami's aura exploded. The darkness thickened. The gravity in the area increased. Dark magic, black hole. A small black hole formed near Naruto, sucking him in. His movement slowed. Can't dodge if you can't move. Yami roared, coming in for an overhead slash. Naruto gritted his teeth. The gravity was intense. It was like Chibaku Tensei on a smaller scale. I can't break the gravity. I have to break the caster's balance. Naruto created 2 shadow clones. The clones grabbed Naruto's main body and threw him out of the gravity well, directly at Yami. Rasengan! A massive blue sphere formed in Naruto's hand. Yami coated his blade in darkness. Dimension slash! The 2 attacks met. Boom! The shockwave leveled the training field. Magna and Asta were blown back into the bushes. Noelle, watching from her window, dropped her tea. Dust covered everything. When it cleared, Yami was standing there, his sword sheathed. His jacket was torn. Naruto was lying on his back, panting, the sage markings fading. I win, Yami said, though he was rubbing his ribs. But you pack a punch, kid. That spinning ball, if I hadn't cut the space around it, I'd be missing an arm. Naruto laughed wheezily. And if I had used the wind variant, you'd be missing a base. Yami smirked. You're hired. For real this time. The dungeon. A dungeon? Asta asked, vibrating with excitement. Like a real adventure? Yeah, Yami said, handing a scroll to Naruto. A new dungeon popped up near the border of the Diamond Kingdom. It's full of ancient magic items. The Wizard King wants us to secure it before the Diamond guys do. Why us? Noelle asked. Aren't we the worst squad? Exactly, Yami said. If you die, it's less paperwork. Anyway, Luck is going as the leader. Asta, Noelle, your support. He looked at Naruto. And Naruto, you're the babysitter. Make sure Luck doesn't kill anyone we're supposed to save. And make sure the rookies don't get squashed. Got it, Naruto said, strapping his pouch on. Team 7 reborn. Sort of. The journey to the dungeon was swift, thanks to Finral dropping them off nearby. The entrance was a gaping maw in the side of a canyon, radiating a thick, eerie mana. It feels creepy, Noelle shivered. It feels exciting. Luck cheered, dashing inside. I bet there are strong people in here. Luck, wait! Asta yelled, running after him. And there goes the plan, Naruto sighed. Come on, Noelle. Stay close to me. Inside, the dungeon was a labyrinth of shifting walls and magical traps. Click! Asta stepped on a tile. A wall of spikes shot out. Wah! Asta sliced them with his sword. Click! Another tile. A golem dropped from the ceiling. Die! Luck punched through it with lightning. Naruto walked calmly, his hands behind his head. He was sensing everything. Trap there. Trap there. Mana density increasing ahead. You guys are loud, Naruto commented. Ninjas are supposed to be stealthy. We aren't ninjas. Noel snapped, blasting a trap with water. We are magic knights. They reached a fork in the road. I smell strong mana that way. Luck pointed right. I'm going that way. Bye. He zoomed off. Luck. Captain Yami said, stick together. Asta yelled. Let him go, Naruto said, his eyes narrowing. He's chasing a fight. If there's an enemy, Luck will keep them busy. We need to find the treasure room before the Diamond Kingdom does. They pressed on. Eventually, the corridor opened up into a massive chamber. In the center, floating on a dais, was a golden door. The treasure room. Asta cheered, but they weren't alone. Standing by the door were 3 figures in golden robes. You know! Asta yelled. Yuno turned, his face stoic as ever. Alongside him were Klaus Lunettes, a glasses-wearing noble, and Mimosa Vermilion, a gentle-looking healer. Asta, Yuno nodded. You're late. We got lost. Asta defended. Who is this? Klaus adjusted his glasses, looking at Naruto. Another peasant? The Black Bulls truly have no standards. Watch it, Four Eyes, Naruto said cheerfully. Or I'll foggy your lenses. Before the argument could escalate, the far wall exploded. The Diamond Kingdom. From the dust emerged a man. He was pale, wrapped in bandages, and encased in crystalline armor. He radiated no emotion. Only cold, hard intent. Behind him was Luck, beaten and bruised, thrown through the wall like a rag doll. Luck! Asta screamed. The man Mars stepped forward. Weak, he droned. This kingdom is weak. Klaus stepped up. I am a noble of the Golden Dawn. Surrender! He fired a steel spear. Mars didn't move. Crystals erupted from the ground, shattering the steel. Mineral magic, crystal clone. Clones of Mars appeared, attacking everyone at once. The battle was chaotic. Yuno fought valiantly, his wind magic clashing with the crystals. Klaus was overwhelmed. Mimosa was healing Luck. Naruto stood back for a moment, analyzing. This guy. Mars. He's not fighting for fun. He's not fighting for glory. He's fighting because he was programmed to. Asta charged in. Aya! He swung his anti-magic sword. It cut through the crystal, but Mars simply regenerated it. Mars knocked Asta aside with a giant crystal fist. He turned his attention to Noel. Weakness must be culled, Mars said, raising a jagged diamond spear aimed at Noel. Noel froze. The fear gripped her. She couldn't move. Noel! Asta yelled, trying to get up. The spear thrust forward. Clang! It didn't hit Noel. Naruto stood in front of her. He had caught the crystal spear with his bare hands. The edges cut into his palms, blood dripping down, but he didn't let go. You okay, princess? Naruto asked, not looking back. Naruto. Noel breathed. You're bleeding. I've had worse, Naruto said. He looked at Mars. Hey, Crystal Boy, Naruto said, his voice hard. Why are you doing this? Mars tilted his head. I was born to destroy. I am a tool of the Diamond Kingdom. Tools do not ask why. Naruto's eyes widened. Flashback. A bridge in the land of waves. A boy with a mask. I am Zabuza's tool. I have no dreams. The air around Naruto changed. The playful atmosphere vanished. A red aura began to bubble up from his skin. It wasn't the full cloak, just a leak. But the malice in it made Klaus and Yuno step back. A tool, huh? Naruto whispered. He crushed the crystal spear in his hands, shattering it into dust. I hate that word, Naruto growled. He stepped forward. Mars fired a barrage of crystal shards. Naruto swatted them away. He didn't use jutsu. He used raw anger. He punched a crystal wall, shattering it. He kicked a clone, reducing it to dust. You think not having feelings makes you strong? Naruto shouted, advancing on Mars. You think being a weapon makes you valuable? Mars stepped back, confused. My analysis says you have no magic. Why are you not dead? Because I have something you don't. Naruto roared. He appeared in front of Mars, inside his guard. I have friends to protect. Naruto pulled his fist back. He channeled chakra into it, not wind, not Rasengan, just pure, concentrated power. Uzumaki barrage. Punch. Kick. Punch. Kick! Naruto unloaded on the crystal armor. Cracks began to form. Mars tried to repair it, but Naruto was hitting faster than the magic could knit together. Asta! Naruto yelled. Finish him! Asta, inspired by Naruto's ferocity, launched himself off a wall. Right! Naruto grabbed Mars' armor and ripped it open, exposing the man's chest. Asta swung his giant sword. The flat of the blade slammed into Mars, sending him flying across the room and embedding him deep into the stone wall. Silence fell over the treasure room. Naruto panted, the red aura fading. He looked at his bleeding hands. They were already healing. Is he dead? Klaus asked, trembling. No, Naruto said, walking over to the unconscious Mars. Just knock some sense into him. Naruto looked down at the broken soldier. He saw a tear leaking from Mars' closed eye. You're not a tool, man, Naruto whispered to the unconscious enemy. You're human. Don't let them take that from you. Yuno watched Naruto. He saw the way the Black Bulls, even the Golden Dawn members, were looking at him. Not with scorn for his lack of magic, but with awe. Naruto Uzumaki, Yuno murmured. He really is strong. The treasure. The group looted the dungeon, or rather, explored it. Yuno found a scroll that granted him a wind spirit, Sylph. Asta found a second, smaller sword that he shoved into his grimoire. As the dungeon began to collapse, because of course it did, they escaped on Yuno's wind arc and Naruto carrying Asta and Noel. Outside, under the setting sun, the group caught their breath. We did it! Asta cheered. We didn't die. Noel looked at Naruto. He was bandaging his hand. Thank you, she said softly. For saving me. Don't mention it, Naruto grinned. That's what squadmates do. Klaus walked up to them. He looked conflicted. He adjusted his glasses. I apologize, Klaus said stiffly. I misjudged you. You fought bravely. For a peasant, and a foreigner, you are admirable. Thanks, Four Eyes, Naruto laughed. You're not so bad yourself. As the Golden Dawn left to report to headquarters, Naruto stood with his team. Well, Naruto said, looking at the bruised and battered Black Bulls. First mission complete. Let's go home. I'm hungry. Charmy popped out of nowhere. Let's eat. Race you back. Luck zoomed off. Wait for me. Asta chased him. Naruto walked behind them, watching the sunset. He felt a familiar warmth in his chest. It wasn't the Nine Tails. It was the feeling of belonging. Kurama, Naruto thought. This world is crazy. The people are weird. But I think I can work with this. Just don't get soft, Kurama grumbled, though he sounded amused. And wash your hands. You got crystal dust everywhere. Naruto laughed, breaking into a run to catch up with his new family. Hey! Wait up! I bet I can beat you there. The royal capital of the Clover Kingdom, Kika, was a jewel of architectural arrogance. Towers spiraled into the sky, defied gravity by magic, and gleamed with white stone and gold trim. To the average citizen, it was a symbol of protection. To Naruto Uzumaki, it looked like a really expensive target. Naruto adjusted the collar of his ceremonial robe. It was stiff, itchy, and smelled like lavender and pretension. Stop fidgeting, Noel hissed, swatting his hand away from his neck. You're embarrassing the squad. It chokes me, Naruto complained, pulling at the fabric again. Why do we have to wear these? My tracksuit is formal enough. It's got a zipper. It is a war merits conferment ceremony, Klaus Lunettes of the Golden Dawn said, adjusting his glasses with a sniff. It is the highest honor for a magic knight to be recognized by the Wizard King. Try to act civilized, you barbarian. They were standing in the grand banquet hall of the castle. Tables were laden with food that cost more than Hage Village's annual budget. The chandeliers were made of floating crystals. The air was thick with the scent of wine and the heavy, suffocating pressure of noble mana. Naruto looked around the room. Asta was currently vibrating near a table full of roast meat, trying to eat an entire turkey leg in one bite. Yuno stood silently by the wall, surrounded by fawning nobles, looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. This place feels weird, Naruto muttered, his eyes scanning the crowd. It stinks, Kurama's voice rumbled in his mind. Not just the perfume. The emotions. Greed. Envy. Pride. It's thicker here than on a battlefield. Yeah, Naruto thought. In the elemental nations, people wanted power to survive or protect. Here, they want power just to say they have it. The ceremony had been boring. Julius Navachrono, the Wizard King, hadn't even shown up. Apparently, he was wandering around in disguise, which made Naruto like the guy immediately. Instead, King Augustus Kira Clover XIII had given a speech that was 90% about his own benevolence and 10% about the knights. Now, it was the mixer. And the tension was palpable. 3 figures approached them. They wore the silver robes of the Silver Eagles. Well, a man with a smug face and a braid, Solid Silva, sneered. If it isn't the failure. And she brought her pets. Noelle stiffened. She gripped her dress. Brother Solid. Don't call me that, Solid spat. He looked at Asta and Naruto. A peasant without magic and a foreigner without a grimoire. The Black Bulls really are a garbage dump. Nebra Silva, Noelle's sister, laughed behind her fan. It's fitting. Trash belongs with trash. Asta stopped chewing. He swallowed the turkey leg bone and all. Hey! Don't talk about my friends like that. Silence, rat. Solid raised a hand, water magic gathering. Or I'll wash you out of the castle. Naruto stepped in between them. He didn't flare his chakra. He didn't take a stance. He just stood there, looking bored. You guys talk a lot about status, Naruto said, picking his ear. But from where I'm standing, you look pretty weak. Solid's eyes bulged. Weak? I am a royal. Yeah, I heard you the first time, Naruto said. But your stance is open. Your mana is leaking because you're angry. And you're picking on your little sister to make yourself feel big. That's pretty weak behavior. You dare! Solid lunged. Before the brawl could start, the room shook. It wasn't an earthquake. It was a roar. A deep, guttural sound that seemed to come from everywhere at once. The stained glass windows of the banquet hall shattered inward. Emergency! A knight burst through the doors, bloodied. The capital is under attack. The outer districts are overrun. Overrun? Alidora Sandler of the Golden Dawn barked. By who? The Diamond Kingdom? No! The knight screamed. The dead. The dead are rising. The descent. Chaos erupted. The nobles panicked, overturning tables as they scrambled toward the inner sanctum. The magic knights, to their credit, moved toward the exits, though some, like the Silver Eagles, seemed more concerned with protecting the castle than the city below. Let's go! Leopold Vermilion of the Crimson Lions shouted, fire blazing around him. Naruto was already at the window. He looked down. The city of Kika was burning. From the cobblestone streets, gray, rotting figures were clawing their way out of the ground. Skeletons encased in mud, zombies leaking purple miasma. There were thousands of them. They were swarming the civilians, dragging them down. That's... Naruto narrowed his eyes. Reanimation jutsu? No, it's sloppier. But there's so many. We have to save them. Asta yelled, jumping onto the windowsill. Wait, Asta! Klaus yelled. We need a formation. Formation my ass! Naruto snapped. He grabbed Asta by the back of his robe and hurled him out the window. Go, Ahab! Asta plummeted toward the city, drawing his sword midair. Naruto turned to the others. You guys protect the castle. I'm going to clear the streets. Clear the streets? Solid scoffed. There are thousands of them. You can't fight an army alone, peasant. Naruto climbed onto the ledge. He looked back at Solid, his blue eyes flashing with a hint of fox red. Watch me. He dove. The army of one. The wind rushed past Naruto's ears as he fell. The screaming of the citizens grew louder. Below him, in the central plaza, a group of civilians was cornered. A massive amalgam of corpses, a giant sewn together from spare parts, raised a club to crush a mother and child. I can't make it in time running, Naruto calculated. And I can't use Kurama's avatar here, it's too big. It'll crush the buildings. He flipped midair, facing the ground. He crossed his index and middle fingers on both hands. If quantity is the problem, Naruto whispered, the wind whipping his blonde hair. Then I just need to change the math. He poured chakra into the seal. He didn't hold back. He flooded his system with his own massive reserves. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Poof! It wasn't a small puff of smoke. It was an explosion of white fog that covered the entire city block. From the smoke, they poured out hundreds, thousands. Orange and black blurs rained from the sky like hail. The civilians squeezed their eyes shut, waiting for death. Thud. Crunch. Smash. The giant zombie was hit by 20 synchronized dropkicks from above. Its head exploded. Its body was driven into the pavement. The mother opened her eyes. Standing in front of her was Naruto. But looking around, she saw another Naruto helping an old man up. Another Naruto was punching a skeleton. Another was carrying a vendor's cart out of the way. The entire plaza was filled with Narutos. "You okay, ma'am?" the Naruto in front of her asked, offering a hand. "Sorry for the mess." What?" she stammered. "What magic is this?" "The loud kind," Naruto grinned. Naruto looked up. The invasion was widespread. The zombies were being controlled by a specific mana signature. "All right, boys," the original Naruto shouted from atop a statue. "Let's clean this city up. Formation B. Search and rescue." "Yeah!" 2,000 voices shouted in unison. The clone army dispersed. From the balcony of the castle, the nobles watched in stunned silence. "Impossible," Solid whispered, his face pale. "Spatial magic? Creation magic? How can he maintain that many constructs? The mana cost would be astronomical." "He's not using mana," Fugolian Vermilion murmured, stepping up to the ledge. The Crimson Lion captain's eyes were wide with interest. "Those aren't just constructs. They have physical mass. They are acting independently. This boy, he is a one-man army." Down in the streets, it was a massacre of the dead. Rasengan! Boom! A cluster of zombies disintegrated. Uzumaki 2K barrage! Smack! A line of skeletons was punted over the city walls. Naruto wasn't just fighting, he was coordinating. Clones formed human chains to bridge gaps for civilians. Clones acted as shields. Clones ran supplies. In the midst of the chaos, Asta was running through an alleyway, slicing zombies in half. "Whoa! There's so many Narutos!" Asta yelled, decapitating a ghoul. "It's like a Naruto festival. Less talking, more swinging, Asta!" A clone shouted as he ran past carrying a goat. "Save the goat!" The Crimson Lions fall. While Naruto controlled the chaotic sprawl of the battle, the captains engaged the stronger threats. Fugolian Vermilion descended into the fray, incinerating swaths of undead with disciplined, overwhelming fire magic. He was a beacon of order in the chaos. Naruto, the original, landed on a roof nearby, panting slightly. Maintaining 2,000 clones in this heavy atmosphere was taxing. "I sense a weird mana," Naruto thought. "It's malicious. Spiteful." He looked toward the central district. A figure in a hood, Raid Spirito, was laughing maniacally, surrounded by his toys. "Yes. Destroy them. Hate them," Raid screamed. "My number 4, Jimmy. Kill them all." But then, Naruto sensed something else. A spatial disturbance. It felt like a Beto's Kamui. A tear in space. "Captain Fugolian!" Naruto shouted, seeing the lion captain approach a strange magical glyph on the ground. Fugolian turned. "Uzumaki? Trap! Move!" Naruto body flickered, trying to reach him, but spatial magic was instant. "Too late," a voice whispered from the void. A portal opened beneath Fugolian. Before the captain could react, he was swallowed. "Damn it!" Naruto swiped at the air, grabbing nothing but empty space. The portal closed. Where did he go? Leopold Vermilion ran up, panic in his eyes. "Brother, he was teleported," Naruto said, his face grim. "He's gone. But the caster, he's still here. Somewhere." Minutes later, the portal reopened in the sky. Fugolian fell. He hit the ground hard. He was unconscious. And his right arm was gone. "Brother!" Leopold screamed. The morale of the knights shattered. The invincible Lion King had been broken in seconds. Naruto stared at the missing arm. The blood pooling on the stones. The air around Naruto grew cold. The playfulness vanished completely. "Leopold," Naruto said, his voice low. "Cauterize the wound. Now, I can't." Leopold was freezing up. Do it or he dies! Naruto roared. Leopold flinched, then nodded, tears streaming down his face. He applied flames to the stump. The smell of burning flesh filled the air. Naruto turned toward the source of the zombies. Raids. You guys fight dirty, Naruto whispered. I hate people who fight dirty. He didn't use a jutsu. He just pushed off the ground. The cobblestones shattered into dust. He broke the sound barrier instantly. The zombie master, Raids, was having a great time. His zombies were winning. The captain was down. Look at them despair. Raids cackled. My revenge is, crash. Raids was silenced as a foot buried itself in his magical barrier. Naruto hung in the air, his leg extended. The barrier, a construct of high-level wraith magic, cracked. You're annoying, Naruto said. Who are you? Raids shrieked. Number 1. Protect me. A massive, armored zombie stepped in front of Naruto. Get out of the way, Naruto said. He didn't punch it. He placed his hand on the zombie's chest armor. Frog kata. He pulsed nature energy through the armor, directly into the zombie's structural core. The zombie didn't fly backward. It imploded. The necrotic energy holding it together was disrupted by the influx of pure nature chakra. It crumbled into a pile of meat and metal. Raid stared, his single visible eye trembling. You destroyed number 1 with a touch? What kind of magic is that? It's the kind that hurts, Naruto said. He grabbed Raids by the collar of his robe and slammed him into the ground. Call them off, Naruto ordered. Never. Raids spat. Space magic. Valtos. A portal opened behind Naruto. A pale hand reached out to grab him. Naruto sensed it. He didn't turn. A golden chakra arm erupted from his back, grabbing the hand of the spatial mage. Gotcha, Naruto growled. He yanked. Valtos, the spatial mage, was pulled halfway out of his portal. Let go! Valtos panicked. He fired a spatial bullet. Naruto dodged, releasing the grip. Raids used the distraction to slip into the portal. We are leaving! Valtos shouted. The objective is complete. Run away, cowards! Asta yelled, running onto the scene, covered in zombie goo. The portal closed. The zombies, without their master's active control, collapsed into lifeless heaps. The riot was over. Naruto stood amidst the wreckage. He looked at the castle, then at the burning city. We won, Asta panted, leaning on his sword. Did we? Naruto looked at the pool of blood where Fugolian had fallen. Doesn't feel like a win. The Wizard King appears. The aftermath was a flurry of healing magic and shouting. The knights were securing the perimeter. The citizens were beginning to come out of hiding, looking at the black bulls with new eyes. They weren't looking at the silvers or the vermilions. They were looking at the boys in black robes. That blonde one, a shopkeeper whispered. He made an army. And the short one, another said. He cut through the monsters like butter. Naruto was sitting on a piece of rubble, drinking a bottle of water Noel had handed him. He was tired. The clones had eaten a chunk of his reserves, and the dimensional static made recharging slow. A voice said. Naruto looked up. Standing there was a tall man in a red robe with a white fur collar. He had a star mark on his forehead and a strange, whimsical smile. The other knights immediately knelt. Wizard King! Klaus gasped. Julius Navachrono ignored them. He was staring at Naruto with stars in his eyes. That magic earlier. Julius beamed, crouching down to be eye level with Naruto. The multiplication. And the way you destroyed the zombie without breaking the armor. And the floating golden arm. What was that? Can I see it again? Can I touch it? Naruto blinked. Personal space, old man. Julius, Yami walked up, smoking. Stop harassing my rookie. He's had a long day. But Yami! Julius stood up, gesturing wildly. He has no mana. I checked. Yet he produced thousands of physical constructs. It defies the laws of magic. It's fascinating. Julius looked at Naruto, his expression shifting from fanboy to serious leader in a millisecond. Walk with me, Naruto Uzumaki. It wasn't a request. The view from the top. Julius led Naruto to the top of the highest spire of the castle. The wind was strong here, carrying the smell of smoke from the city below. You're not from here, Julius said. He was leaning on the railing, looking out at the kingdom. Is it that obvious? Naruto joined him. To me? Yes, Julius said. I see time. I see the flow of mana. You don't flow. You exist outside of it. You're like a rock in a river, Naruto sighed. Yeah. I'm from a place called Konoha. I got misplaced dimensions, Julius nodded, as if discussing the weather. The Clover Kingdom has records of such things. Demons come from other dimensions. It stands to reason humans could too. Naruto perked up. So you can get me back? Maybe, Julius said. I am a time mage. But space is not my specialty. To cross dimensions requires immense energy. More than the entire Magic Knight squad possesses combined. Naruto slumped. Great. However, Julius continued. There are archives. Ancient magic. Relics forbidden to the public. And there are mages in the Heart Kingdom and the Diamond Kingdom who specialize in such things. Julius turned to Naruto. You helped save this city today, Naruto. But you also saw something, didn't you? I saw the nobles hiding in the castle while the people died, Naruto said, his voice hard. I saw a system that cares more about bloodlines than lives. Julius smiled, but it was a sad smile. Exactly. That is the disease of this kingdom. I try to change it. I recruit peasants. I promote based on merit. But the roots of discrimination run deep. It's a slow process. Why are you telling me this? Because you have power, Julius said. Different power. Power that scares them. And today, the people saw you save them when the nobles didn't. That makes you a symbol? Julius pointed at the setting sun. If you want to access the forbidden archives, if you want the resources of a nation to help you return home, you can't just be a rogue element. You need authority. You need them to trust you. Naruto looked at the man. He saw the burden in his eyes. It was the same look Hiruzen Sarutobi used to have. The look of a man holding up the sky. What are you saying? Naruto asked. Become the Wizard King, Julius said. Naruto blinked. Ha! Climb the ranks, Julius said, his eyes burning with intensity. Prove your merit. Show this kingdom that a man without magic can stand at the top. If you do that, you will have the key to every door in this world. And, you might just save this country in the process. Naruto looked out at the city. He saw Asta down below, helping fix a broken cart. He saw Noel healing a child. He thought about the hidden leaf. He wanted to go home. He missed Hinata. He missed ramen that actually tasted right. But he couldn't just leave a mess behind. That wasn't his way. And he certainly wasn't going to let guys like Solid Silver run the show. Naruto smirked. He adjusted his headband. You know, old man, Naruto said. I spent my whole life chasing the title of Hokage. I finally got it. He looked at Julius. I guess adding Wizard King to the resume wouldn't hurt. Julius laughed. It was a bright, hopeful sound. I look forward to it, Naruto. But be warned. The path is steep. I like steep paths, Naruto said. They have the best views. Epilogue: The Merit. The next day, the awards were handed out. Yuno received a medal for his defense of the granaries. Asta, despite saving the day, received nothing because he technically disobeyed orders and caused panic with his terrifying appearance. The damnable politics of the court. But then, Julius stepped forward, and for special merit, Julius announced to the court, silencing the murmuring nobles. For the single-handed defense of the Central Plaza, and the evacuation of 2,000 citizens, Julius held up a medal. It was gold, shaped like a star. Naruto Uzumaki of the Black Bulls is awarded the Star of Honor. And a promotion to Senior Magic Knight 3rd Class. The court erupted in outrage. A peasant? A foreigner? He has no magic. Naruto walked up the steps. He took the medal. He turned to the crowd of angry nobles. He didn't bow. He didn't thank them. He just flashed a peace sign. Databeo, he whispered. In the back of the room, Captain Yami blew a smoke ring. Heh. The kid's starting a fire. Let's see if the kingdom burns down or toughens up.